Greetings and salutations, fellow gods. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, god of trying their best. Joined as always by the boy, god of...
I'm trying okay.
Spite?
Yes! Hey.
This is the Two Nerds podcast. Hey, do you see that thing ticking slowly across your screen? Read what it says, follow its directions. I recently had one of you guys ask me about a Discord where fans of our work can hang out. It's talked about right there. Link is in the link tree in the description. Do want to shout out our Patreon supporters. Give us $1 a month. That's all I ask for.
And you get to be cool. Like Rob, a guy from Ohio, Jesse Weock, Passion Killer 711.
That would be very cool. $5 a month gets you episodes of Journey of Wrestling early, and we know that's what you're actually here for.
But if you've decided to keep listening to this even after determining that there isn't wrestling happening, good for you. We're talking about Thor, Love and Thunder, and San Diego Comic-Con, because we don't know that we've got a whole lot of very deep thoughts about Thor.
I do and I don't. Let's do the traditional spoiler-free review. This is your cue if you haven't seen Thor, Love and Thunder and don't want any spoilers to mute the video, let it play in the background. That'd be pretty cool.
Come back and actually listen once you're done.
Yeah,
2
yeah.
views.
Yeah. I like how you're thinking there. But the spoiler-free review I have is this was dumb and fun. It was not dumb in a way that it was like, this was bad decisions. It was dumb in a way that, like, no one was trying to make high art here. They just made what they were aiming for very well.
I agree. This was dumb in the way the best comic books are.
Sure.
This was dumb like a Thor comic book.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a compliment. I like that Thor comic books, the good ones, are fucking over the top, high, fucking nearly wacky, universal affairs. I love that about them, and this movie has it. My spoiler-free review is specifically that for me personally, this movie perfects a formula that I did actually find somewhat grating sometimes in Thor Ragnarok. So it is an improvement for me. Now, that hasn't been a universal opinion of the people I've asked who've seen the movie, so take that with a grain of salt. But I really like this.
Yeah. I've been looking forward to this one. This is probably the big Marvel movie other than Spider-Man, but I still think of that because it's a half Sony property as like its own thing.
Spider-Man is his own thing.
Yeah. Connected, but not quite. This has been the big movie I've been looking forward to in Phase 4. And I was pretty surprised, well, not surprised, but pretty pleased with it.
I'm very happy with this movie. I like this movie a whole lot. I don't know that it's one of my favorite Marvel movies, but it's pretty... this might be recency bias, but it's pretty much my favorite Thor movie.
I don't want to rank it, because I think it would end up lower than I'd like.
Yeah, and recency bias is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, this movie does have a couple of flaws. It's certainly not perfect.
No, I don't think so. But it is incredibly fun and not taking itself too seriously while still having the gumption to be serious, to have heart when it matters without feeling the need to undercut it constantly. So, certain people who have very specific emotional damage, if they ever get into a situation where there might be a serious moment, will start reflexively making jokes to try and drain the tension from the moment.
It's us. We're certain people.
Yeah. And Ragnarok did that. Ragnarok had that problem. This doesn't. When it's time to be serious, the movie's not afraid of that. I like that.
Yeah. It's very comic book. And that's what I love about the latest phase of the MCU, and it gives me hope going forward, is that with each new thing that's come out, they don't care anymore in the best way.
Yeah, they got past Endgame. They won. So now it's just a whole big victory lap of a franchise. So they just... everything gets more comic books. The further we go, the more comic books everything gets. And again, that's a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have some really... mediocre entries like Black Widow. Sometimes you have unexpectedly fun shit like Shang-Chi. Sometimes you have bizarre stuff like The Eternals.
And it's all comic books as fuck, dude. That's, again, we said that about the Eternals. It very much is comic books.
As much as I have my reservations about it, we said that about Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, yeah. It's a
comic
Doctor
books as
Strange
hell.
comic.
Hell yeah. This fell on the other side of the emotional line from Multiverse of Madness for me. And I theorize that a lack of expectations was powerful in setting that up for success. But it was just more fun. Just the way the story was told, the way things unfolded was just more to my proclivities. There weren't a lot of big spectacle moments, and I think that's a lot of the stuff that I really didn't care for about Doctor Strange. But this isn't really a comparison situation. I've just given you guys a roundabout. Have you left the podcast yet? Spoiler-free people.
Well, if you haven't, it's time.
Yeah.
So, spoiler review.
Why don't you just take point on this, and I'll come in and fill in with my thoughts.
All right. First off, this movie it's comedy. It starts off with the Guardians of the Galaxy there. They don't stay around very long, but their spirit and the spirit of Thor Ragnarok carries through in that this movie is a comedy. It's an action comedy, but it is a comedy. There are jokes, a lot of them, and it's generally not taking itself super seriously, except where necessary.
I will say that it felt very much like a Dungeons and Dragons table.
And we say that about the movies we really love.
That is true too, but it just has that air of we are saving the world from like a dark, tragic figure, and I am still going to make jokes about it.
And specifically about him. Like, they did some of the clowning the BBEG thing. And Gore managed to still be cool and intimidating anyway.
Sadly, not all DMs are Christian Bale.
God! That's what I wanted to bridge into. This movie's up for me. A lot of the really good parts of this movie are in performances and choices they made and the actors made. Gore is fucking excellent. Christian Bale is acting his ass off. He's not afraid to chomp on some scenery where necessary, but he also has like a real genuine emotional weight to his performance that, to be clear, this movie did not ask of him.
I feel like he could have phoned this in and it would have been fine.
But he didn't. He fucking really brought something to it. Chris Hemsworth, as always, great. And the more you let him be funny, the better he is at playing Thor. Like, it's just, he has really grown into the role. He is, and loves it, apparently, and is going to keep fucking playing Thor as long as they'll let him, and I like that. The other one I wanted to put shine on specifically is fucking swole ass Natalie Portman. She is a fucking revelation in this movie. A bit of honesty for you, listener. I don't like. Well, no, I like her fine now. I feel like they've taken the character good places by this point. But the beginning of Mighty Thor is not a story that I like the execution of. And
it was very cynical.
Yes.
In a meta sense.
Yeah, it was very cynical. It was done for very cynical reasons, and that comes through in the execution. But it's always been a character I thought had a lot of potential. Generally, these days, she's not as bad, but the character, at least when she first shows up, comes across as kind of a, like, Cousin Oliver syndrome, I think is the easiest way to explain it. She's the new kid on the block, but they go out of the way to show her being cooler and more awesome and more together than the original Thor in every possible way, and they misguided an effort to make her seem cool when it just makes her seem like the DM's girlfriend.
Yeah. They also pointed out, and they're very finger on the nose about it, and I don't care for that aspect specifically.
Now, when they eventually revealed who Mighty Thor was, and, you know, they brought in Jane Foster in the cancer storyline in comics, it gave the character some much-needed depth that helped bridge her into someone that you could emotionally connect with more easily. This movie does a couple things that really improve the character. One, they do not do that Cousin Oliver bullshit. She is cool, she is fun, she is competent, but she is not hyper competent and never seen to do anything, and cooler than the people around, cooler than the situation.
I want to say that one of the things that really tempered that was the acting that Natalie Portman did, because when she was not empowered by Mjolnir, she was exhausted, reserved, anxious, like, someone who is dying of cancer would be.
Yeah.
And when she's full of Mjolnir juice, it's like anxiety meets adrenaline, and she's basically running on full panic attack toddler mode.
Like, she's having a panic attack while on, 9 Red Bulls.
Yeah. She gives this huge manic performance that, if it weren't obvious by the context of the movie, would come across as a little manic pixie dream girly. But because they supply that context, because this movie is so good at being what it is, you get that performance, or at least I got that performance.
I definitely did as well, and that's the other thing I was going to say is her vulnerability, her emotional vulnerability, and her vulnerability, like little shit, like she doesn't quite have her catchphrase down yet, and she kind of jumps the gun at doing hero stuff because she's super excited to do hero stuff,
and that she wants a catchphrase in the first place. Like, it's very much like I was at my lowest point, and I have been someone who is, I guess, powerful in the broad sense, the academic sense, and now I'm full of Jamba Juice and I'm ready to go.
I can punch God. Let's do this. And that is, and the other thing they do is they don't do the dumb reveal. I understand why they did it in comics. You gotta move units, but in this, they naturally bridge in. They bring in the fact that that Jane Foster has cancer before Mighty Thor exists. That's a perfect change. It gives the character emotional resonance right from the beginning. And that's just beyond her already being a really well-established character in the movies and being played by a really good actress. It's just the kind of choice, because they could have easily kept have the, who's Mighty Thor, Winter Soldier thing where everyone around goes, well, that's Bucky. I can tell because that's the same actor. They could have easily done that, and they didn't, and that's a really, really solid change. This is, for me personally, a Robert Downey Jr.-esque elevation of a character.
I feel like that's what the MCU does best, even if that includes Carol Danvers, for that matter. They take a character who is up and down in comics, or a storyline that was watered down by, editorial mandate, or being passed around different writers, and stuff like that. They clean it up, they put it through one filter, and they end up with some good shit.
And they did. They just fucking really nailed it here. I am sad. This is a big spoiler. Spoiler for the movie. I am sad that this is the only movie we're going to get Mighty Thor in. Possibly. It's comic books. You never know.
You never know.
I am sad about that. I'm pretty sure that's probably because Natalie Portman doesn't want to be eating chicken breast for the next 10 years. Well,
she doesn't.
Well, fucking vegan chicken breasts.
Vegan breasts.
Dude, that is also something. Chad May got fucking swole, and that's harder to do without chicken breasts,
it's all
okay?
spinach, my man, Popeye style.
It's not as efficient, so you have to eat so fucking much.
Yeah. She had some crazy arms, man.
To get that big, you already have to eat a lot and work out a lot. To do it without the incredibly efficient protein that is meat, you have to eat even more and work out even more.
Yeah.
And possibly be on some gear. No judgment, if you are. And Chris, look, you got them fucking 24-inch pythons, bro. Good work.
Soon, brother.
Soon, brother. And if you got that in the lore-appropriate way, no judgment. You an actor, not an athlete. But it's just very impressive.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
very commitment. That's commitment to the fucking character.
And it's appreciated. And that goes right back into Christian Bale's acting. He didn't need to go that hard. But that commitment, we had all this stuff going into about he didn't want to be in another superhero movie, and he wanted to leave more time between his films, so he almost didn't go to the movie to be in the movie. And his kids are like, nah, Dad, do it.
Because, they're kids. They like kids.
And then he turns around and delivers that performance.
Yeah, he was reluctant. He didn't really want to be there. He was like, all right, fine. My kids want me to do it. Fine. I guess I'll show up. And he could have easily been fucking reading off a sheet, cue cards off screen, fucking phoning it in. And he still would have been fine. He's a great actor. But this dude fucking came to play.
Oh, yeah.
Gore is a heartbreaking character.
He's great. They play the storyline great. And I love how... organic it all is, and I love how they don't hammer. They don't bludgeon you with what would have been obvious, I feel, in modern times. Not that I dislike this take, but I'm glad they went a different way. In the end, plot of the movie, he is trying to get to a wish thing, a wish-granting MacGuffin. He gets there, despite all of it, in spite of it all. He wins. And he's like about to make his wish, and we think he's going to wish for all the gods to die. Because he's the god butcher. That's his thing.
They very much established that that's his plan, and also that he's basically right. Every god who, like, we've been clowning on Odin for a few years now for being the world's worst dad. Turns out he was, like, as far as gods go, pretty responsible and chill.
Yeah.
Because turns out the rest of them are all complete dillweeds, and Gore's kind of right.
But he, Thor could have said, okay, you had a shitty thing happen to you, your daughter died, and the gods wouldn't help, and that sucks. But the answer isn't to kill all of these gods you've never met. That is very much a modern shaming thing. And they went the other direction with it.
No, Thor, both in the, the whole message of the movie and in, like... In the specific lesson he, learns in the movie, and he does learn this lesson in the movie, he gives him a positive. He doesn't shame him for wanting vengeance. He gives him hope. He gives him a positive building path forward instead of a shaming for anger that is pretty righteous.
And it's a beautiful moment, too, because, he's getting ready to make his wish, and Gore's, like, yelling at him, go away, Thor. And Thor's like, I'm not going to stop you, man.
You win.
You win. I'm going to go hang out with my girlfriend because she's fucking dying and I'm sad about that.
You've won. I love that moment when he just acknowledges that he lost. That Gore won. He was the first one through to the MacGuffin, which means he gets the wish. You can't stop him. There's nothing you can do. That's such a good character development for Thor, especially after Thanos.
And that's the thing, is that Thor has got one of the most solid and dynamic up and down character development arcs. I can't even call it an arc. It's a wiggle.
Yeah, and
throughout the entirety of the MCU.
Character development doesn't always have to be positive. It's not necessarily always an upward trajectory. It sometimes is a lot better if it's not.
Yeah.
We have seen Thor at his highest highs and his lowest lows, and he has become wise. When he wasn't able to stop Thanos, it ruined his life. He developed a fear of the man. He completely destroyed his body out of guilt and a desire to keep other people away from him. And he's become wise. He loses against a guy who wants to destroy him and basically the world. The universe even, like Thanos did. And he loses again. And instead of letting it destroy him, he refocuses to take what little time he thinks he has left and spend it with those he loves. That is such fucking great character development.
And it's good filmmaking, because he does this. He goes over to Jane, not being full of Clintar crap, Gore, which they don't specifically reference in the movie, but, because of the whole Sony thing. Gore's like, all right, okay, so let's say I wish my daughter back. I'm fucking dying. She needs a parental figure. How is that going to go?
Yeah.
And Jane goes, no, she wouldn't. And through the act, it's not made clear. It's not outlined. She doesn't give a speech about it. There's just this look of understanding between Jane and Gore, and he's like, damn, you right. I trust this guy to do it. He just turned his back on me to hang out with his girlfriend at the end of the world instead of fighting me like every other god. And it's the same thing as when she finally says her catchphrase and we don't get to hear it. It's just phenomenal storytelling. Because you know what it is. You know what it is. But it's subtle. And I think that's why this movie, if you don't let yourself get sucked into it, or if you don't analyze the films you watch as deeply, why it can come across as just a dumb fucking movie.
And it's not the smartest movie.
No, there's two goats who scream through the whole thing.
Korg is in it, and he's being Korg the whole time.
He sings a love song, a sex ballad.
Yeah. He sings a song about rock fucking, and it's great. Because we talk about this, these deep character arcs and this very emotional storytelling, but like there is also a scene where Chris Hemsworth, where Thor is like showing off the whole goods, and a room full of ladies just faint at how sexy he is. The movie's not taking itself amazingly seriously.
Speaking of room full of ladies fainting, Russell Crowe as Zeus. Inspired. This is the best Zeus I've ever seen.
Fucking
most accurate. And I'm not talking about comic Zeus. I'm talking about Zeus.
I love that he's Greek.
Yeah, perfect.
I love that he's Greek as fuck, and I love that he's as much of a fucking philandering dillweed as he's supposed to be. Zeus is a fucking asshole. Yeah. And you nailed it.
I also think this is a good place to move forward with Thor stuff. We've got the cameo from I've forgotten these characters' names. It's been so fucking long. From Meow Meow Lady, we got the cameo
Kat Dennings. From I don't remember her name.
No Pants Dad, Skarsgård.
Eric Selvig. I remember his name.
Thank you.
Darcy. I remember Darcy. I don't remember Darcy's last name.
I like the character. I liked her in WandaVision. My brain is a sieve. So it was a nice way to move forward, maybe into this new Asgardian stuff. I'm glad I got to see some Sif. I always mark for Sif.
Sif fucking lost an arm. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the arm's in Valhalla.
I want to see fucking Sif Asgardian fucking Winter Soldier ass arm.
I'm glad we got to see Heimdall.
I'm glad we got to see Heimdall too. I'm glad he got to put in a last effort.
Yeah, and Axel, I liked him. I don't like children as a rule, but like that was a pretty good plot element, and the character was cool.
Yes. All of that is yes. I really like this movie. I could go, I could full Guardians of the Galaxy this movie. There's a lot of really fire lines and scenes that I could just recount beat for beat that are fun. But just watch the fucking movie. It's fun. Go see it. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the end of the day. I want to shout out the black and white section that took place on...
the Shadow Isles, Gore's world, where he's the man.
Yes, exactly. I just cinematographically absolutely inspired, and I love coming home and looking at the Wikipedia page. And after thinking, man, they went with real Nosferatu vibes. I'm so excited for the new Nosferatu movie coming out. Because if you can do this in 2022 and it looks this good, that remake is going to be spectacular. And I come home and see that they intentionally did a Nosferatu vibe, that Christian Bale was leading
that was the idea.
Him and the Aphex Twin music video for Come to Daddy, which that speaks to my teenage soul. So yeah, Christian Bale, fantastic. Top 5 MCU villains, honestly. He was there for a little bit, but what a great character. Like
the best FCU villains, he had a clear goal, he had a great performance, and he fucking is right. Yeah. He's going about it the wrong way, but in a lot of ways, he's just correct.
Well, and then someone says to him, hey man, don't. And he's like, you know what, now that I'm free of mind parasites, that's a good point.
Now that I'm free of a literal fucking... one ring fucking whispering evil into my ear tier evil artifact. You're probably right. I was being a real asshole.
So let's move into SDCC. There's been a lot of exciting news. I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time on this because there are better channels to go to, but we did traditionally used to do a San Diego Comic-Con podcast, and we do not have enough time to fill in a full podcast for this.
Mostly, honestly, went a little longer than I expected to.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's just the passion we have for this film, and it was really cool. There wasn't a lot outside of Marvel stuff that was really worth mentioning. The new Dungeons & Dragons movie looks much like Thor, stupid and fun.
Yeah, and it will probably be stupid and fun.
Most of you are going to remember the theatrically released one with snails. They made 2 direct-to-video which were pretty decent. The third one, I believe, was actually really good.
I've apparently watched these. I do not remember them.
I'd watch them again. I don't really want to watch the first one again, but, I have friends who haven't seen it, so that might be fun. You're a National Treasure fan. How do you feel about the TV show?
They got Riley Poole back. I don't think Nicolas Cage is going to be there, and that's sad, but they got Riley Poole back, and he was my second favorite character in the movie, so all right, I might be here for this.
There's a SpongeBob SquarePants crossover show that's a crossover between SpongeBob SquarePants and the Patrick Star Show. Hint, that's SpongeBob SquarePants. That
Patrick
headline
has
is
his
stupid.
own show?
Oh yeah, they stopped SpongeBob, and I don't know.
Oh, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, what a stupid announcement. LeBron James is in Smash. Not that one. Man, there were a lot of good trailers. I'm trying to skip past the Marvel stuff and into other shit. I'm really excited for the new
X-Men 97.
series. Yeah.
That looks like it's going to be good. We're just scrolling past shit at this point.
There's some spin-offs for The Walking Dead if you care about that.
I sure don't.
Me either. I'm a little curious about Keanu's anime, Berserker. My love for you is like a truck.
I mean, he probably will at some point, yes.
I think that's about it. I forgot Andor was going to be a series. The Shazam sequel looks pretty fun.
Still never seen Shazam.
I recommend it.
Yeah, he's recommended it to me several times.
It's not like...
I just have I don't know what it is. I even like Captain Marvel. I just have no desire to see it.
I think that might be it.
Aside
Batman's
from the Marvel
Cars getting a
stuff,
TV
oh,
show.
the
Sandman.
Sandman looks fun. I don't know. It's Netflix, and it's a Netflix live-action adaptation, so I don't know that I'm going to take a risk on it.
In a surprise at being a Netflix animated series, Dragon Prince is actually getting its 4th season, which is very exciting for me. I got into that show and was like, then Netflix canceled all of their animated series, and okay. I believe that's all for the non-MCU
for the non-Marvel stuff. So yeah.
Okay, so we got the rest of Phase 4 coming. That is... There's been a lot of trailers for that. That's She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
It's in another tab.
This is the end of Phase 4.
Yeah.
We've got the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, the Werewolf by Night Halloween Special, and I believe Black Panther Wakanda Forever. That's the end of Phase 4.
The proper end of Phase 4 is Wakanda Forever.
And they've been dropping trailers for those. Not the Halloween special yet. I'm really curious about where they're going with that. I love fucking obscure Marvel characters.
I love that we just get to have those.
Yeah.
Like, we live in this is a terrible timeline, but there's at least one bright spot.
And it's the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, it's time to go to Phase 5, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I am excited about all of those. They evoke different moods from me.
Phase 5, really, like... I am happy about Phase 5 in a way. Phase 4 was good. Phase 5 looks like it might be fucking great.
I think the only things that have been announced for Phase 5 that we didn't know about before are the new Daredevil series and Thunderbolts. There's an official title for the new Captain America movie, which is New World Order. Otherwise, I think this was all on docket for a while. Blade got an official release date. Very excited about that.
Yeah, give me more Mahershala Ali and Marvel properties. Yeah, that's fine.
He's just a great actor, and Blade's a great
you know what? No. There was another thing. You said Daredevil, didn't you?
Yeah, Daredevil, yeah.
Daredevil, was it Born Again?
Yep.
Which, one, great, because he's officially in the MCU. Two, Born Again is a specific storyline from Daredevil.
Yes. Yes, it is. I'm curious to see how that goes, and...
They renamed Agatha into Coven of Chaos instead of House of Harkness. I don't know. I like House of Harkness better. It's a better name. But
if they end up doing something like House of M or something like that...
Yeah, I understand why.
Maybe hold back on it. That is Phase 5. The rest of it, I'm just going to rattle off these titles. You can Google it, but you're already here. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, Secret Invasion TV series, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which will be the final movie in this incarnation of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it will no longer have...
James Gunn.
James Gunn, thank you, attached to it.
Probably a few others, but at the very least, James Gunn.
Yes. Echo series, which should be cool. I don't know a lot about Echo, but I'm looking forward to it. Loki Season 2, the Marvels movie, which... we didn't watch at this point, at point of recording, the Ms. Marvel TV show. I started watching it, and I realized it was very much for teenagers.
And I love Ms. Marvel. I really like that character from comics. I think she's great. I think she's got great energy. But they changed her powers, and I was a little butthurt. So I haven't watched it yet. But they've done some stuff that makes it different enough, as I understand it, that it doesn't feel like they just changed their powers for no reason. It feels like they're going away with it. And
yes.
I'm more into it. I probably will catch it at some point.
Yeah. If we both end up catching it, we'll podcast on it, I'm sure, but I tried and I had to stop because I'm not 14. And I think let me say this, I think it's a very well done show. Visually, creatively, acting.
The MCU's a big place, not everything has to be for us.
Exactly. It wasn't narratively for me, so I had to step away. Then we get Blade and Ironheart, Agatha, Covenant Chaos, Daredevil Born Again, Captain America, and then the Thunderbolts at the end of Phase 5.
Thunderbolts, it looks like it's going to be very cool.
Now, we only have 3 movies mentioned in Phase 6.
But what a fucking 3! First off, there's 2 Avengers movies coming.
There are.
They're later. They're not the first movie that's going to be in Phase 6, but I'll talk about them first. For reasons. One is Avengers, the Kang Dynasty. They have been spending multiple TV series and movies building up to Kang as an Avengers villain. I like that. He should be very cool. That should be very fun. Probably another time travel movie because it's Kang.
Well, they're calling 4, 5, and 6 the multiverse saga.
Yeah.
So,
and then Avengers Secret Wars.
What if they make it actually secret and actually a war?
That would be fucking dope.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes me really excited for Secret Wars is something that's coming out before that, which is, at long last, finally, Marvel's first family has come home. The Fantastic fucking Four are getting a movie in the MCU, and I am so fucking pumped.
I'm happy for you, brother.
I'm so fucking pumped, dude. We will get an MCU quality versions of these characters, and for Secret Wars, importantly, we get, I hope, Doom.
Here is hoping. Here is hoping a lot of good shit. Maybe this will finally make me give a shit about Fantastic Four.
I think so, honestly. I am willing to lay like a bet on the line for this one. The Fantastic Four are excellent characters.
I've always liked Ben. That's never been. He's fun. He's very Stan Lee.
The blue-eyed, ever-loving thing.
Yeah. The rest of them I could take or leave. I like to make jokes about Reed Richards, and I like. And
he's a very mockable character.
He is. And like Doom is great. Doom is an icon, but like I can take Doom without the rest of the Fantastic Four.
No, you can't. Shut up.
I absolutely can. He can be in whatever he wants. Doom goes where he pleases.
He does. That's fair. He does. But I think that if they have given the proper MCU treatment, I feel like this will work. I feel like this will absolutely finally get across what I like. What I love about the fucking Fantastic Four.
Well, near the end of 2024, supposedly November 28th, we'll see.
Yeah, all that stuff is always up in the air, really.
But, hey, man, that's sooner than I thought we'd get it. And then, once Phase 4 concludes...
Or Phase 5, or whatever.
Or Phase 6, excuse me. Once Phase 6 concludes, it opens that door for the next thing. And the next thing that was maybe teased at the end of Ms. Marvel... with a little music sting. And I'm...
Man, alright, I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. I don't think they're waiting. I think they're saving that for D23 later this year.
Maybe.
They're not waiting until 2026 to fucking... to land the plane on the fucking guitar riff.
I mean, they might have to.
No, it's theirs. They ain't gotta wait.
Well, no, I mean just to produce things, like to actually turn it around, you know?
I don't think it'll be like the... I think it will be somewhere in the Multiverse Saga is where they'll start it.
Maybe.
Because you need Doom for Secret Wars, but he is not the only character you need for Secret Wars.
That is... I mean, one could make substitutes. We kind of breezed past Thunderbolts. I'm very hyped for that.
Oh, yeah. Thunderbolts looks... I mean, they've been setting up Thunderbolts for a long time now. So I'm excited for I am excited for the Nega Rangers to show up.
Tying back into Thor, who the first post-credit scene teased for us. I know a lot of my friends away from the podcast are going to be very excited because we finally have MCU Hercules.
What a guy.
But that's our thoughts on SDCC. That's our thoughts on Thor: Love and Thunder. Anything else you'd like to say, my robotic companion?
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
God of Nerds. I should have gone with that.
Fuck it.